The night exploded in a blur of blue lights and shattering glass as Officer Harlan's boot connected with Alex's ribs, the pride badge on his jacket glinting like a defiant spark in the chaos. "Freak!" Harlan spat, his voice a venomous hiss that cut deeper than the blows, while Alex's scream tore through the alley, raw and unyielding, echoing off the brick walls of downtown Elmwood like a siren's wail for the forgotten. In that frozen heartbeat, as blood trickled warm from his split lip, Alex locked eyes with the stars above, cold witnesses to a boy's breaking, and whispered to himself, "This is who I am," even as the world tried to beat it out of him. Elmwood, Texas, wasn't the kind of place that made headlines unless someone died in a meth lab fire or the high school football team choked in the playoffs. It was the sort of dusty speck on the map where pickup trucks outnumbered Priuses 10-1, and the local diner served freedom fries with a side of suspicious stares at anyone who didn't fit the mold. Alexander Hayes, Alex to his two friends, that queer kid to most everyone else, had grown up navigating those stairs like landmines. At 17, he was all sharp angles and sharper wit, with tousled brown hair that fell into eyes the color of storm clouds, and a laugh that could disarm even the grumpiest ranch hand if you caught him off guard. But lately, that laugh had been in short supply. It started with the badge. A simple enamel pin, rainbow stripes bold as a flag on the 4th of July, clipped to the lapel of his thrift store denim jacket. He'd bought it online after months of scrolling through forums in the dead of night, heart pounding like a bass drum every time his dad, Benjamin, stirred in the next room. Ben Hayes was a ghost of a man, broad-shouldered, with hands calloused from 20 years as a roughneck on the oil rigs, now retired to nursing beers at the VFW hall and fixing leaky faucets for neighbors who pretended not to whisper about his troubled boy. Ben never said much about the past, just that he'd left Dallas in '98 after some mess that turned his stomach sour. Alex figured it was a bad divorce or a bar fight gone wrong. Dads like Ben carried their scars like old flannel shirts, frayed but never discarded. The badge made its debut on a sweltering June afternoon at Elmwood High's graduation rehearsal. Alex wasn't graduating yet. Junior year loomed like a bad hangover, but he'd tagged along to support his best friend, Mia, who was valedictorian and the only person in town who'd clocked his secret before he did. Mia was a whirlwind of braids and borrowed eyeliner, the kind of girl who quoted Audre Lorde in biology class and dreamed of Austin's queer scene. "Wear it," she'd dared him over text the night before. "Own it, Alex. They're gonna hate you anyway. Might as well give him a reason." So he did. Pinned it right there in the bleachers, the metal cool against his chest like a talisman. Whispers rippled through the crowd like heat haze off asphalt. Coach Harlan, father to the quarterback and a deputy with the Elmwood PD, shot him a look that could curdle milk. "Hayes," he barked from across the field, "this ain't no rainbow parade. Take that shit off before I make you." Alex's fingers twitched, but he held firm, chin up like he'd seen in those grainy videos of Stonewall kids staring down the pigs. Mia squeezed his hand, her nails digging crescents into his palm. "Breathe," she murmured. "You're braver than all these cowards combined." That night, over lukewarm spaghetti in their shotgun house on Elm Street, Ben noticed. He paused mid-forkful, fork hovering like a divining rod over the formica table. "What's that on your jacket, son?" His voice was gravel low, the kind that rumbled from too many smokes and not enough sleep. Alex's throat went desert dry. He'd rehearsed this 100 times in the shower, steam clouding the mirror like a coward's fog. "It's a pride badge, Dad. For gay pride. I'm gay." The words tumbled out, clumsy as a fumbled snap, and he braced for the fallout, the silence that could shatter bones. Ben set his fork down slow, deliberate, like he was handling nitro. His eyes, faded blue like Ben's old work shirt, searched Alex's face. Seconds stretched into miles. Then, a nod so slight you might miss it if you blinked. All right, that was it. No fire and brimstone. No disowning over the mashed potatoes. Just all right, and a reach across the table for the salt shaker, like Alex had announced a preference for ketchup on his eggs. Relief hit Alex like cool rain after drought, but it was laced with something sharper. Pity, maybe, for the man who'd raised him single-handed since Mom bailed when he was 5. Ben never dated, never brought anyone home. Alex had chalked it up to grief, but now he wondered. You cool with it? He pressed, voice small. Ben's laugh was a dry cough. Son, I've seen worse than pins and rainbows. World don't end, 'cause a boy loves who he loves. He stood, clapping Alex's shoulder with that vice grip hand. Just be smart about it. Elmwood ain't Dallas. Smart. Right? Because being smart meant hiding, and Alex was done hiding. The trouble brewed fast, like a summer storm over the plains. Word spread, texts pinging like buckshot, graffiti scrawled on his locker, FAG in red Sharpie, the loops fat and furious. Mia dragged him to the library after school, where they huddled over dog-eared copies of Giovanni's Room, her voice a fervent whisper. This is your story, Alex. Fight for it. That's when Ethan showed up. Ethan Caldwell, senior transfer from Houston, with sun-bleached hair and a skateboard tucked under one arm like an extension of his lanky frame. He was all easy grins and faded band tees, Nirvana, mostly, and the rumor mill said his folks had split after his mom came out as bi, sending him to live with his uncle in Elmwood to toughen up. Ethan caught Alex staring in the stacks, badge winking under the fluorescence. Love the pin, Ethan said, sliding into the chair opposite, his knee brushing Alex's under the table. Electric. Makes you look like trouble. Alex flushed hotter than a jalapeno. The good kind. The kind that gets you kissed. Ethan's eyes crinkled, green as fresh-cut grass. And just like that, the library faded, the musty books, Mia's knowing smirk from across the room. It was just them, two boys in a bubble of possibility, hearts sinking like faulty wiring about to spark. They fell hard, fast, the way teenagers do when the world's a minefield and love's the only safe harbor. Stolen kisses behind the bleachers, hands fumbling in the cab of Ethan's uncle's rusted Ford, whispers of "I got you" against sweat-damp skin. Ethan was out too, proudly, defiantly, with a bi flag keychain dangling from his backpack. My mom's a rock, he'd say, tracing patterns on Alex's chest. Taught me love ain't a zero-sum game, but Elmwood wasn't Houston, and the shadows lengthened. The breaking point came on a Friday night in July, Pride Month bleeding into the heat like watercolor on wet paper. The local queer alliance, 5 misfits including Alex, Mia, and Ethan, had planned a small rally downtown, signs, chants, a picnic under the courthouse oaks. Nothing big, just a stake in the ground. Ben dropped Alex off with a grunt. Call if you need pickup. His truck's taillights fading into the dusk like a reluctant guardian angel. The square buzzed tentative at first. Rainbow banners fluttering limp in the humidity. A boombox crooning KD. Lang. Alex wore the badge like armor, Ethan's hand warm in his. This is us, Ethan murmured, lips brushing his ear. Claiming space, Then the cruisers rolled in, slow and predatory, lights off but sirens itching. Deputy Harlan led the pack. His son Tommy, the quarterback who'd once shoved Alex into a locker, riding shotgun, smirking like he'd won the state title early. "Disperse," Harlan bellowed through a megaphone, voice tinny and mean. "This ain't authorized." Mia stepped forward, sign hoisted high. "Love is love. It's public space, sir." "First Amendment." Harlan's lip curled. "Public nuisance. More like." His eyes snagged on Alex, the badge a bullseye. "You again, Hayes? Stirring shit." Alex's pulse thundered, but Ethan's squeeze grounded him. "We're peaceful," he called, voice steady as rebar. "Just here to celebrate." The crowd, 20 strong now, locals gawking from sidewalks, murmured. Harlan advanced, baton loose in his grip. "Celebrate somewhere else." "Boy." The word boy landed like a slap, laced with all the ugly history of badges and broken backs. It escalated in heartbeats. A shove, a chant rising, "No justice, no peace," and Harlan's hand clamping Alex's shoulder, spinning him like a rag doll. "You're under arrest for disorderly." The badge tore free, skittering across pavement like a wounded bird. "Let him go." Ethan lunged, and that's when the baton swung. Chaos, screams, scuffles, the acrid tang of tear gas canisters popping like fireworks gone wrong. Alex hit the ground hard, boot to ribs, Harlan's face a mask of red-faced rage. "Think you're special, faggot." Fist to jaw, stars bursting behind eyelids. Blood in his mouth, copper sharp. Somewhere, Ethan's cry, "Alex!" cut through the din, but the world narrowed to pain, to the unyielding truth that pride wasn't free. They dragged him to the alley behind the station, away from prying eyes, Tommy holding his arms while Harlan taught a lesson, each blow a sermon, knuckles to gut, knee to thigh. Alex curled fetal, gasping, the badge crushed underfoot like so much glitter in the gutter. "Stay in your lane," Harlan growled, wiping sweat from his brow. "Or next time, we don't stop." When they left him there, sprawled in his own blood, jacket shredded, they laughed, low and satisfied, sauntering back to their cruiser like kings of the Dust Bowl. Alex lay still, breaths ragged, the night pressing down like a shroud. Pride, he thought bitterly, tasted like asphalt and regret. But bones mend, and boys like Alex, they rise. The ER at Elmwood General was a fluorescent purgatory, all beeping monitors and the faint bleach stink of forgotten hurts. Alex woke to Mia's tear-streaked face hovering like a worried moon, her braids tied back with a scrunchie that had seen better days. "Oh God, you're awake," she breathed, squeezing his hand so hard he winced. For drip cold in his vein, ribs taped like a mummy's, lips swollen to bursting. The doctor, a harried woman with a name tag reading Dr. Reyes, had already come and gone, muttering about contusions and possible fractures, her clipboard a shield against the questions she knew better than to ask. "What the hell happened?" Ben's voice boomed from the doorway, a thunderclap in the sterile quiet. He filled the frame, flannel shirt untucked, face etched with lines that hadn't been there yesterday. His eyes, those faded blues, darkened to slate as they raked over the bruises blooming purple on Alex's jaw. "Cops?" Alex croaked, throat raw as sandpaper. "Harlan and his kid." After the rally, Ben's jaw clenched, a muscle ticking like a bomb's timer. He crossed the room in 2 strides, perching on the bed's edge with the carefulness of a man who'd once wrestled pipe wrenches but now handled his son like fine china. "Tell me everything, son." So Alex did, words spilling, halting. The rally, the batons, the alley's shadows where decency went to die. Mia filled in gaps, Ethan's arrest too, zip-tied and hauled off for assaulting an officer, though everyone knew it was bullshit. Ben listened stone-silent, fists balled on his knees, the air thickening with unspoken fury. When Alex finished, Ben stood abrupt, like a piston releasing. "This ends now," he stormed out, phone already to his ear, voice a low rumble Alex couldn't parse. Mia leaned in, eyes wide. "Your dad's intense." "Yeah," Alex murmured, exhaustion tugging like weights on his lids. "Always has been." Sleep claimed him then, dreamless and deep, but morning brought the circus. Reporters from the Austin Statesman clustered outside like vultures, mics thrust at anyone in scrubs. The story had leaked. Small-town sieves never held water, and Elmwood pride beating trended local, Mia's frantic tweets igniting a digital bonfire. Ethan got sprung by noon, charges dropped under insufficient evidence, his uncle's lawyer barking about civil rights violations. He burst into Alex's room smelling of cheap coffee and adrenaline, collapsing into the visitor chair with a grin that didn't reach his eyes. "Jesus, babe," Ethan whispered, thumb tracing Alex's knuckles. "They roughed you up bad." Alex managed a crooked smile, pain meds fuzzing the edges. "Worth it. For you. For us." Ethan's kiss was feather light, promise sealed on bruised skin. "Love you, Alex Hayes." Badge and all, they tangled hands, plans hatching in hushed tones. Lawsuits, protests, escape to the city where rainbows weren't threats. But Ben's shadow loomed. He returned that evening with takeout from Rose's, tacos, Alex's favorite, the kindness a knife twist in its normalcy. "Eat," he grunted, unwrapping foil with surgeon's precision. They chewed in silence at first, the TV droning Fox News spin, unruly crowd prompts police action. "Bullshit," Alex muttered, fork stabbing a pepper. Ben's nod was grim. "Ain't the first time Harlan's played rough." He paused, beer bottle sweating rings on the tray table. Knew his type back in Dallas. Crooked badges, dirtier hands. Alex's fork stilled. "Dallas? You never talk about it." Ben's gaze drifted to the window, where fireflies blinked lazy in the dusk. "Some stories best left buried, son. But maybe it's time." The floodgates cracked then, slow at first, Ben's voice a reluctant river carving canyon. Dallas, 1997. Young Ben Hayes, 25 and cocky, fresh out of the academy, badge shiny as his ideals. Beat cop in Oak Lawn, the neighborhood pulsing with clubs and drag shows, where AIDS had carved hollows in cheeks but not spirits. Ben patrolled those streets, baton at hip, but his heart, it wandered. "Met a boy," Ben said, words weighted like lead shot. "Tommy. Not like your Tommy, older, artist type. Painted murals on dive bar walls, all fire and color." We clicked. Late nights at the Eagle, hands brushing under tables. First time I felt seen. Alex. Really seen. Alex's world tilted. His dad stoic. Straight-laced Ben. Gay? The pieces slotted. The solitude. The aversion to church potlucks. The way he taught Alex to throw a punch but never to hate. "Harlan's old man was my sergeant," Ben continued, voice dropping to embers. Bigoted prick. Covered for his own. One night, raid on a bathhouse, routine harassment. They called it. Tommy got caught in the sweep. I tried to pull strings. But, a swallow. Adam's apple bobbing like a buoy in storm. They beat him bad. In holding. Said he resisted. I found out too late. Transferred me to Vice the next week. Buried the report. Tommy. He didn't make bail. Hung himself in his cell 3 days later. The room shrank. Air sucked vacuum tight. Alex's chest ached. Not from ribs but from the echo of that grief. A father's ghost laid bare. Dad. I'm so sorry. Ben's hand found his rough palm enveloping fragile fingers. I ran, son. To Elmwood. To oil fields. To pretending. Buried it deep as a well. But seeing you, his voice cracked, rare as rain in July. Can't let history repeat. Not on my watch. That night, with Alex discharged and bunked on the couch under a quilt stitched by hands long gone, Ben paced the kitchen like a caged panther. Phone calls multiplied. Old contacts from Dallas PD, a civil rights lawyer in San Antonio who'd owed him a favor since '02. Yeah. Harlan. Ben growled into the receiver, voice steel-wrapped. That name rings bells. Tell me more. By dawn, puzzle pieces emerged. Harlan's file, dog-eared and damning, excessive force complaints from 15, a settled lawsuit over a black kid's broken arm, whispers of evidence planted in DUI stops. But the gem? A grainy VHS from Ben's Dallas days, tucked in a lockbox under floorboards. Footage of that bathhouse raid, time-stamped and time-stamped with Harlan Sr. sparked orders. Clear him out. Make it hurt. Tommy's face in the grain, young and unafraid, before the dark swallowed him. Ben digitized it overnight, emailed to the lawyer with a note. Leverage. Revenge wasn't the word, justice. Maybe, laced with the salt of old tears. Ethan crashed the next day, skateboard abandoned on the porch, bearing DQ blizzards as peace offerings. The three of them, Alex, Ethan, Ben, sat on the sagging swing, spoons clinking in awkward harmony. So, Ethan ventured, eyeing Ben warily. You're? Ben's chuckle was rusty. Yep. Old queer like my boy here. Figure that makes us family. Ethan's grin broke wide, tension snapping like a wishbone. Cool. Means I got backup for the rematch. Rematch. The word hung. Electric. Mia called mid-melt. Rally redux. This time with numbers. Word spread, LGBTQ plus groups from Austin. Even a news van from Dallas. Elmwood square-braced for round 2. Signs sharpened. Spirits tempered in fire. But betrayal slithered in shadows. Tommy Harlan, the quarterback with daddy's jawline and a chip on his shoulder the size of Texas, had been Ethan's lab partner last semester. Friendly, even shared smokes behind the chem building, jokes about chem teacher's bad hair. Ethan, naive in his optimism, had vented once. Alex's dad? Total hard-ass, but solid. Tommy's nod. Sympathetic. Mine too. Man. Cops. You know, what Ethan didn't know. Tommy's texts to his dad post-beating. Kid's old man sniffing around. Shut it down. Harlan Sr. Moved fast. Anonymous tip to the DA. Painting Ben as a disgruntled ex-cop with an axe to grind. Pressure mounted. Warnings at the VFW. Slash tires on Ben's truck. Alex sensed the fracture first. Ethan's phone buzzing late with deleted messages. What's wrong? He pressed one night. tangled in sheets that smelled of teenage sweat and stolen moments. Ethan hesitated, green eyes stormy. Tommy. He cornered me after practice. Said if we push this, it'll get ugly. For all of us. Alex's gut twisted. And I told him to fuck off, but doubt lingered. A serpent in Eden. And when Tommy's next play came, deepfake pics circulated. Alex's face photoshopped onto porn stills, captioned "Proud Elmwood Slut." Ethan cracked. I can't, he whispered that midnight, backpack slung over shoulder in the Hayes driveway. Rain sheeted down, blurring porch light to halo. My uncle's threatening boarding school. And you. God. Alex. I don't want you hurt more. Betrayal landed softer than batons but cut deeper. A scalpel to the soul. You're leaving. Alex's voice broke, rain mingling with tears. Ethan's sob was animal. I love you. But love's not enough here. He fled into the downpour, taillights winking goodbye like false stars. Alex slid down the doorframe, chest caving. Ben found him there at dawn, soaked and shivering, pulling him into an embrace that smelled of coffee and resolve. Hearts heal, son. But spines? We straighten those. The rally dawned fierce, sky bruised purple like Alex's fading marks. 200 strong now, chanting under the oaks. Ben at Alex's side, badge pinned to his own jacket, a twin flame. Harlan's cruiser idled curbside, but the tide had turned. Cameras rolling, lawyers lurking. As Alex stepped to the makeshift podium, a milk crate, ironic in its humility, his voice rang clear, amplified by hurt into him. We stand, he declared, eyes locking on Harlan's pale face through the windshield. Because falling ain't an option. The square thrummed like a live wire, bodies packed shoulder to shoulder under a sky that held its breath. Banners snapped in the breeze. Justice for Alex? Badges don't make right. And the air hummed with a fragile alchemy. Fear forged to fury, whispers to war cries. Alex gripped the crate's edge, knuckles bone white, his freshly laundered jacket bearing a new badge. 2 pins now, his and Ben's, rainbows intertwined like lovers' fingers. Mia flanked him, megaphone in hand, her voice a clarion slicing the din. No more silence, no more violence. Ben stood sentinel behind, arms crossed over his chest like oak roots, his presence a bulwark against the tide of what-ifs. He'd barely slept, eyes ringed purple as Alex's bruises, but his stance screamed unyielding, the roughneck turned reluctant revolutionary. Whispers rippled through the crowd. That's Hayes, the oil guy. Heard he was queer too, whole families cursed. But Ben met stares with steel, the Dallas ghost stirring in his veins like old whiskey. Ethan's absence gnawed, a hollow in Alex's chest where hope had bloomed. He'd texted once, I'm sorry. Safer this way. And Alex hadn't replied, words failing like a stalled engine. Betrayal wasn't just abandonment. It was the mirror cracking, reflecting back his own fragility. Was it real? He'd wondered in the witching hours, sheets twisted like accusations. Or just a teenage fever dream. But anger banked the grief, hot coals under ash, fueling his grip on the mic. Harlan arrived fashionably late, cruiser nosing through the throng like a shark parting minnows. He stepped out slow, mirrored shades perched on his nose despite the overcast, baton dangling casual from his belt like a gunslinger's 6-shooter. Tommy slouched beside him, Letterman jacket slung over shoulders, smirk etched permanent. The crowd hushed, a collective inhale, as Harlan shouldered forward, parting bodies with elbows and entitlement. "Hayes," he drawled, voice syrup thick with menace, stopping just shy of the crate. "Told you to stay in your lane. This little tea party's over." Alex's heart jackhammered, but he leaned in, mic crackling feedback. "Public square, deputy. Last I checked, the Constitution don't got a Harlan clause for bigotry." Laughter bubbled, nervous, then bold, and Harlan's shades slipped, revealing eyes chip-cold. "Smart mouth for a kid who got schooled last week. You want round two?" Uncle Tommy hears itching. The uncle landed like a gut punch. Tommy's relation to the old sergeant, blood thicker than ink on reports. Alex's gaze flicked to the younger Harlan, that familiar face now twisted ugly. Lab partner. Smoke buddy. Traitor. Family tradition. "Ha!" Alex shot back, voice steady as rebar. "Beating boys who don't fit your narrow world." Murmurs swelled to roar, phones aloft capturing every frame. Ben shifted, a low growl escaping. "Easy, Harlan. Cameras are rolling. The deputy whirled, shades forgotten, face flushing beat. "You, Hayes Sr. Thought you were long gone. You washed up. Watch it." Ben cut in, stepping forward, chest to chest. The air crackled, two bulls in a china shop of civil rights. "I remember you, boy. Daddy's shadow, same rotten core. Dallas 97 ring a bell? Bathhouse raid? The one where your old man buried a suicide to save face." Harlan's bluff cracked, a fissure spiderwebbing. "Ancient history. You got nothing." Ben's smile was wolfish, pulling the lawyer's tablet from his back pocket like a concealed carry. "Got footage. Actually. Grainy, but clear as your daddy's orders. Make it hurt." And Tommy's face. "Last free breath before your family turned a cell into a coffin." Gasps rippled outward, crowd pressing closer. A human vice. Tommy paled, jacket slipping to elbows. "Dad, shut it," Harlan snapped, but his hand twitched toward the radio, betrayal's echo in his son's eyes. The square teetered, climax cresting like a wave about to break. Then, chaos. A bottle sailed from the fringes, beer, half full, shattering at Harlan's feet, foam hissing like accusation. Who threw it? A Harlan sympathizer, planted to discredit, or just Elmwood's impotent rage boiling over? Didn't matter. Harlan's baton whipped free, swinging wild toward the nearest protester, a wiry kid with a trans flag cape. The crowd surged, protective instinct igniting, and suddenly it was melee, pushes turning to shoves, shouts to screams. Alex leaped from the crate, adrenaline eclipsing pain, grabbing Ben's arm. "Dad, get back!" But Ben charged forward, barreling into Harlan's path, the two men colliding like freight trains. Fists flew, Ben's haymaker connecting with Harlan's jaw, a crack like walnut shelling, and the deputy staggered, baton clattering to cobbles. "Assault!" Harlan bellowed, scrambling up, radio crackling to life. "All units, code 3. Sirens wailed distant, closing fast, but the crowd held, a living barricade. Mia herded stragglers, voice hoarse, link arms, peaceful, stay peaceful. Alex dove into the fray, wrenching Ben free, the older man's knuckles bloodied, breath ragged. "You all right?" Alex panted, dragging him toward the oaks. Ben nodded, grimacing. "Old bones, son. But worth it." Backup screeched in 3 cruisers, lights strobing apocalypse, but the tide had shifted. Reporters swarmed. Mics thrusting. Deputy, comment on the footage. Is this excessive force? National eyes turned. CNN's chopper thwupped overhead. A mechanical vulture. Harlan retreated. Face ashen. Tommy vanishing into the squad car like smoke. But victory tasted bittersweet, laced with the sting of what followed. Ben's arrest. Cuffs clicking cold on wrists that had once cradled Alex through nightmares. Resisting, they called it, though video screamed otherwise. Alex rode to the station in Mia's beat-up Civic. Heart in throat. Calling the San Antonio lawyer. He's got history. Use it. The holding cell was a concrete coffin. Ben's silhouette slumped on the bench when Alex burst through with bail money scraped from Ben's rainy day jar. Told you to be smart, Ben muttered, rubbing wrists raw from steel, but his eyes gleamed pride. Learned from the best, Alex shot back, clapping his shoulder. Outside, dawn bled pink over the plains, the square littered like a battlefield. Trampled signs, shattered glass winking like fallen stars. Ethan waited on the curb, skateboard at feet, face haggard as if he'd aged a decade in days. Alex, I saw it all. Couldn't stay away. Betrayal's scar throbbed, but Alex's voice softened, edged with ache. Why come back now? Ethan stepped close, rain from last night's storm still puddling at their boots. Because running's for cowards. And I ain't one. Not anymore. His hand found Alex's, tentative, then sure. Forgive me, the question hung, heavy as humid air. Alex searched those green eyes, storm-tossed but steadfast, and saw the boy who'd kissed him first, the one worth the risk. Prove it, he whispered, pulling him into a crush of limbs and lips, salt of tears mingling sweet. Ben cleared his throat from the station steps, a wry smile cracking his facade. Y'all save the mush for home. We got work. The fallout cascaded like dominoes. The footage dropped online by noon, Ben's VHS. Cleaned up digital. Timestamp burning bright. Dallas 97 trended alongside Elmwood Justice. Old ghosts rising. Survivors from Oak Lawn raids. Tearful testimonies of buried complaints. Harlan Sr. Long dead, but his legacy crumbled. The department scrambling with internal review pressers that fooled no one. Tommy cracked first. Subpoenaed. He spilled. Daddy's directives. Planted evidence. The alley beating not impulse but lesson for uppity kids. Ethan stood witness. Voice steady in deposition. Saw it all. Tommy held him down. Redemption's weight bowed him. But Alex's hand in his under the table anchored. Ben's past unfurled full. He'd quit Dallas not just from grief, but guilt, testified anonymously in a 99 probe that whitewashed the PD, then vanished to atone in silence. Thought burying it buried me. He confessed one night over whiskey, Alex's first sip, burning benediction. But you, son. You dug me up. Made me whole. Climax peaked in court. San Antonio Federal Building gleaming sterile under August sun. Harlan faced charges. Assault, civil rights violation, conspiracy threading back decades. The gallery packed, protesters in rainbow armbands, Elmwood holdouts glaring daggers. Alex testified second, voice unwavering. He didn't just hit my body. He tried to erase who I am. But pride? That's bone deep. Harlan's defense crumbled. Cross-exam faltering against Ben's footage reel. Played on loop. Tommy's final mural fading to black. Verdict. Guilty. 5 years. Badge stripped like skin. Cheers erupted. But Alex's eyes sought Ethan across the aisle, their fingers lacing through the divide, a bridge over betrayal's chasm. Yet humanism whispered caution. Justice wasn't erasure. Harlan, cuffed and hollow-eyed, met Alex's gaze in transit. Kid. Sorry, don't fix it. But I was scared. Of change. Of you. Alex nodded, throat tight. Start by listening. That's how we heal. Outside, confetti rained. Protesters shredded signs. A joyful detritus. Ben enveloped them both, arms a tent over young shoulders. Proud of you boys. Both. Fall crept into Elmwood like a hesitant lover, leaves turning gold under skies vast as unanswered prayers. The square, once scarred by batons and broken glass, bloomed anew, community gardens seeded by the Alliance, rainbow pinwheels spinning lazy in the breeze. Alex walked it daily now, Ethan's hand in his a constant, the town's stares softening from suspicion to sidelong curiosity. Morning, Alex, Mrs. Petrov from the diner would call, her wave tentative but genuine, a peace offering wrapped in bacon grease. Change didn't roar. It rustled, leaf by leaf. School resumed in fits, Alex's senior year, badge a fixture on his backpack now, drawing allies where once it summoned foes. Mia ruled student council, her platform inclusive Elmwood, posters plastered like wallpaper. Tommy Harlan vanished, expelled. Family fled to kin in Lubbock, but his absence echoed, a vacuum where apology might have flowered. Ethan transferred in full, uncle thawed by the publicity. They shared trig, stolen glances over graphing calculators. Notes passed like love letters. Plot our escape? Red heart. Escape, the word dangled sweet. A carrot on Austin's string. UT applications loomed. Alex's essay raw. The badge that broke and bound me. Ethan's biochem dreams sinking like gears. But roots tugged. Ben's quiet unraveling. The Dallas ghosts demanding daylight. One crisp October eve, as jack-o'-lanterns grinned from porches, Ben called Alex to the garage, his sanctuary of rusted tools and half-built birdhouses. Dust motes danced in the bulb's glow, air thick with motor oil and memory. Sit, Ben said, gesturing a stool, two long necks sweating on the workbench. Alex perched, cap unscrewed hesitant. What's up, Dad? Ben's fingers traced a scarred workbench, grooves like braille of lost years. Been thinking. About Tommy. Your Tommy, I mean the artist. A swallow. Beer untouched. Never told you the full. After I went to his studio. Place was gutted, cops trashed it. Search warrant. Found his sketchbook, though. Drawings of us. Me, mostly sleeping, laughing, alive in ways I forgot. Alex's chest tightened, empathy a vice. You kept it, Ben nodded, pulling a battered leather tome from a toolbox, pages yellowed as old teeth. Flipping slow, faces emerged, Ben young, eyes alight, Tommy's flourish, bold lines capturing vulnerability Ben had armored over. This one's you, Ben murmured, tapping a portrait, Alex at 10, gap-toothed grin under a backward cap. Tommy drew it from a photo I showed him once. Said you had my fire, tears pricked, unbidden. Dad. That's beautiful, haunts me, son. The what-ifs. If I'd fought harder, spoken out. Ben's voice frayed, a thread pulling loose. Love like that, it's a revolution. Yours with Ethan? Don't squander it on fear. The words landed profound, a benediction bridging generations. Alex clasped his dad's hand, calluses mirroring his own budding ones, from protest signs, "Not yet, Riggs. We won't. Promise." Ethan arrived then, skateboard clattering the driveway, bearing pizza boxes as camouflage for deeper intents. "Family meeting?" he quipped, but his eyes, keen as ever, caught the sketchbook's aura. Something like, Ben rumbled, sliding a beer his way. "Welcome to the club, kid. Old queers united." Ethan's laugh bubbled, easing the gravity. They ate cross-legged on concrete, grease-slick fingers gesturing dreams. Austin Co-op, art collectives, Ben visiting with dad jokes and worse grilling. Laughter wove them tighter, a tapestry of found family, betrayal's threads rewoven gold. But conflict simmered subterranean. Elmwood's underbelly churned, Harlan's allies, bitter as bile, whispering sabotage. One night, as Alex and Ethan tangled slow in the Hayes basement, Ben's tactful TV volume cranked upstairs. A brick sailed through the window, scrawled "Fags burn" in marker rage. Glass shards glittered like malice, cutting Ethan's palm as he shielded Alex. "Out," Ethan hissed, blood welling crimson. "We leave now," but Alex held firm, pulse racing, not fear but resolve. "No running. Not again." He bandaged Ethan's hand by flashlight, stitches of gauze mirroring heartmends. "This town's learning. We stay. We teach." Ethan's doubt flickered, but Alex's kiss sealed it. Deep, anchoring, a vow etched in salt and skin. "Okay," he murmured against lips. "For you." Ben's response was thunder. He'd called in markers, old roughneck buddies patrolling unofficial, trucks idling watchful. "Ain't letting them near my boys," he growled. Shotgun cleaned though unloaded, a statement, not threat. Humanism bloomed in small graces. The diner starting pride plates, proceeds to alliance. Coach Ramirez, Harlan's replacement, apologizing in homeroom, voice gruff, "Shoulda had your back." Won't happen again. Even Tommy's mom sent a card, and signed, but the floral script unmistakable. "Forgive if you can. Healing starts home." Climax redux crested not in square but supper table. Thanksgiving Eve. Air rich with turkey brine and tension. Ben invited the Caldwells, Ethan's uncle, a taciturn mechanic thawing to nephew's beau, and Mia, her plate heaped defiant. Conversation skirted politics, but when Uncle Ray cleared throat, "Heard about the brick. Sorry for that mess. The dam broke." "Scared," Ben prompted, carving knife pausing. Ray nodded, beard twitching. "Was. Still am. Some. But boy's happy. First time since Houston. Makes a man rethink." Ethan squeezed Alex's knee under tablecloth, a morse of gratitude. "Love changes things, Uncle. Even Elmwood." Dessert dissolved barriers. Stories swapped. Ben's Dallas tales tempered tender. Ray admitting his own experiments in Nam barracks. Laughter rang, pie crumbs flying, a tableau of tentative tribe. Winter whispered warnings, though, anonymous calls to Ben's shop. "Watch your back, traitor," and Ethan's truck keyed with slurs. Doubt crept. Ethan's texts laced anxious. "UT defer? Safer here." Alex quashed it, but nights he lay wakeful, badge heavy on nightstand, wondering if pride's price was perpetual vigilance. Betrayal's second strike landed sly. Mia, of all, confiding over cocoa one December dusk. "Got a tip, Harlan's cousin. Works dispatch. Planting rumors, you're recanting testimony. Alex's blood iced. Who told you? Mia's eyes dropped, lashes wet. Anonymous. But I think Ethan's uncle. Protecting the boy. Maybe. The fracture widened. Trust's fault line quaking. Confronting Ray yielded bluster. All lies. But evasion screamed guilt. Ethan, caught collateral, withdrew shell-shocked. If it's true. God. Alex. I didn't know. Believe me. Alex pleaded. Porch swing creaking under weights unseen. Or don't. But choose. Ethan's choice came dawn. Snow dusting rare. Stayed. Ray's confession extracted over Ben's friendly poker game, bluff called. Literally. Wanted to shield him, Ray admitted. Cards folding. Wrong way. Sorry. Forgiveness flowed fitful. But flowed. Group hug in the driveway. Steam breath mingling. Pact sealed white. Spring surged renewal. Prom under disco ball rainbows. Alex in thrift tux. Ethan twirling him clumsy to Chapel Roan. Ben chaperoned corner. Beer in thermos. Grin paternal. Diplomas clutched. Futures unfurled. Joint lease in Austin. Ben's garage expansion funded by settlement check, Harlan's payout. Ironic bomb. Yet romance's depth plumbed shadows. One June night, post-graduation bonfire. Ethan confessed tears. Scared I'll hurt you again. Like before, Alex cupped his face. Firelight gilding lashes. We both will. That's love. Messy. Human. But we mend. Their kiss tasted of Esmores and forever. Bodies aligning under stars that once witnessed beatings. Now blessings. Ben watched from afar. Sketchbook in lap. Adding strokes. Two boys entwined. A third figure vigilant. Tommy to prove, he whispered to wind. Summer scorched Elmwood golden. Asphalt shimmering like mirage promises. Alex and Ethan's Austin move loomed. U-Haul booked. Dorm keys jingling in pockets. But farewells weighted heavy. Each goodbye a thread snipped from the town's fraying hem. The house on Elm Street, once echoey with solitude, buzzed farewells. Mia's potluck, neighbors bearing casseroles laced with reluctant respect. Ben orchestrated it all. Grill smoking brisket. His laugh freer now. Dallas burdens lightened to luggage, not chains. The night before departure, as cicadas chorused humid, Ben gathered them on the back porch. Lanterns strung like fireflies, cooler sweating condensation. To new chapters, he toasted, bottle clinking glass, eyes misting rare. But remember, roots run deep. Come back. This old queer needs his boys. Ethan's arm slung Alex's shoulders, a yoke easy worn. Promise, mister. Holidays, sure. And you'll visit. UT's got a killer drag brunch. Ben's snort was fond. Deal. Long as you don't corrupt me worse than I already am. Laughter crested, but undercurrent tugged, the past's persistent echo. Ben's sketchbook made rounds. Tommy's lines a bridge across decades. Frame it, Alex urged, flipping to a blank page. Start your own story. Ben's nod was solemn. Reckon I will. Art class at the community center, old dogs. New tricks. Dawn broke merciful. U-Haul groaning loaded under peach light. Hugs protracted. Mia's tear salty. Text hourly. Bitch. Ben's bone crusher. Whisper fierce. Love you, son. Always have. Alex lingered last. Porch step creaking. Badge glinting farewell. Scared? Ben asked. hand on hood. Terrified, Alex admitted, grin crooked. But ready. The drive blurred interstate. Ethan at wheel. Radio crooning Brandy Carlisle. The story. Apt anthem. Austin sprawled welcoming. Co-op on Guadalupe. Rainbow crosswalks. Air electric with possibility. Classes commenced whirlwind. Alex's poli-sci seminars dissecting Stonewall. Ethan's lab dissections literal. Beakers bubbling like dreams. Romance deepened domestic. Grocery runs debating quinoa versus queso. Late nights tangled in thrift sheets. Bodies mapping familiar terrains with bolder hands. Miss Elmwood, Ethan murmured once. Post-climax glow. Fingers tracing Alex's badge on the dresser. Parts, Alex confessed. Head pillowed on chest. Ben. The fight. But here, we're free. Freedom's flip. Isolation's subtle siege. Campus queer center bustled. But cliques calcified. Freshman fags, dismissed by seniors with jaded smirks. A party invite soured. Hookups heavy. Ethan vanishing to bathroom with a cute grad student. Emerging flushed denial. Nothing, he insisted. But Alex's gut nodded. Betrayal scar itching. Confrontation brewed over ramen. Steam veiling faces. Saw you, Alex said. Chopsticks still. With that guy. Ethan's fork clattered. Flirt? Yeah. Stupid. But I came back to you. Hurt flared mutual. Alex's jealousy a flare. Ethan's guilt a gale. But words unearthed roots. Ethan's polycuriosities. Seated in Houston's open homes. Clashing Alex's monogamous mold. We talk, Alex insisted. Hands bridged over bowls. Or we break. Talk they did, nights philosophizing on fire escapes. Stars urban smudged. Compromise carved. Boundaries drawn. Adventures essayed. A throuple flirtation fizzled gentle, reaffirming duo's depth. You're my anchor, Ethan vowed. Ring exchanged simple titanium bands. Engraved, unbroken. Ben visited October. Truck rumbling campus. Bearing brisket and bemusement. Drag brunch dazzled, him in feather boa. Cheering RuPaul lip syncs with gusto. Your world's wild. Boys. He marveled post-mimosa. But eyes shone approval. Climax crested subtle. Elmwood callback. Ben's call urgent. Rally anniversary. Need you. They drove. Hearts homing. Square transformed. Permanent stage. Plaque. Alex Hayes Plaza. Etched resilient. Crowd swelled 1,000 strong. Faces familiar forged. Mia emceeing. Ray grilling burgers. Even Harlan's ex-wife laying flowers at the plaque. Alex spoke last. Ethan at side. Ben center stage proud. 1 year, Alex intoned. Mike humming heartbeat. From beating to belonging. Pride isn't badge. It's us. Loving loud. Living true. Cheers thundered. But eyes sought Ben's. Nod exchanged. Pass pact sealed. Betrayal's final ghost. A letter. Postmarked Lubbock. Tommy's script shaky. Therapy's hell. Dad's rotting. Regrets rotting him worse. Sorry for the shove. The silence. Be better than me. Alex read aloud fireside. Ethan and Ben silent witnesses. Burn it, Ethan asked. No, Alex decided. Frame it. Human. Remember. Humanism's harvest. Ben's art show. Spring co-op gallery. Tommy's sketches alongside new. Alex and Ethan entwined. Elmwood Oaks guardian. Opening night packed. Ben's toast trembling. To love's lost and found. To boys who teach old men to dream. Tears flowed free. Embraces endless. Alex caught Ethan's eye across the crowd. Love's language fluent. Forever? Always? Ethan mouthed. Badge winking twin. Years unfurled ribbon. Graduations. Careers. Alex advocacy lawyer. Ethan biochem whiz. Ben's murals dotting Texas walls. Rainbow's rural rebel. Weddings whispered, small. Courthouse. Mia officiating. Ben walking Alex aisle. Vows echoed simple. Through batons and betrayals. I choose you. Tragedy tempered joy. Ben's diagnosis. Pancreatic. Late-stage shadow. They rallied hospice home. Laughter laced morphine. Last words. Hand in sons. Proud. So damn proud. Love. It's the fight worth all. Ben faded gentle. Elmwood burying him under oaks. Headstone unbroken. Grief carved hollows. But humanism healed. Foundation in his name. Badges for beaten kids. Murals memorial. Alex and Ethan endured. Foster dads to a queer teen. Cycle circled kind. One dawn. Porch swing creaking Austin. Grandson on knee, adopted. Badge pinned. Alex traced Ethan's ring. Worth the scars. Ethan's kiss dawned. Everyone. Pride's legacy. And in that quiet, America vast behind. Love stood sentinel, dramatic, emotional, romantic, human to the bone.